sant yàlla.
looy xaar utal Wave nga scan nga fay te nag doo ci yokku dara.
A better way to pay your UTG fees with instant proof of payment and real-time student portal update. Paying your University of the Gambia fees has never been easier or more convenient. With Ecobank, students, parents and guardians can pay UTG tuition and related fees through our secure digital banking channels such as Ecobank mobile app, Ecobank Online and Ecobank Omni Lite. Once payment is completed, instant proof of payment is generated and the UTG student portal is updated in real time, allowing students to proceed immediately with registration, course selection, and clearance without unnecessary delays, while giving parents and guardians peace of mind that payments have been successfully processed. How to pay via the Ecobank mobile app. Open the Ecobank mobile app and navigate to the home screen. Select Pay Bill. Choose Pay a New Bill and select Schools from the category options. Select University of the Gambia. Select the specific product you are paying for. Enter your matriculation number and tap Continue. Validate your details. The system will display the payable amount. Press Continue to confirm the payment. An e-receipt is generated automatically as proof of payment with real-time updates on the student portal. How to pay via Ecobank Online or Omni Lite. Log in to Ecobank Online and Omni Lite using your credentials. Select the menu and choose Bill Payments. Choose Quick Bill Pay and select School from the category options. Select University of the Gambia. Select the specific product you are paying for. Enter your matriculation number and tap Continue. Validate your details. The system will display the payable amount. Press Continue to confirm the payment. An e-receipt is generated automatically as proof of payment with real-time updates on the student portal. Walk into any Ecobank branch or pay through our digital channels and enjoy instant proof of payment with real-time updates on the student portal. Ecobank, the Pan-African Bank.
Jar Oil. The company have filling stations across the country, and our rates are relatively cheaper than anyone else across the country. Jar Oil is the biggest producer and distributor of cement in the country with the most competitive prices in the market.
Well, we've done 45 minutes with Lare, entirely on NAWEC, apart from, a few digressions here and there to talk about Africa 50 and the Senegambia Bridge. Also Al-Bayrak, I tried to draw him into the ferries thing. He wouldn't be drawn into that conversation just yet. But apparently he's still not done on NAWEC. I suppose this is what the conclusion now. Lare, welcome back.
One or two things on NAWEC. You asked a question. Was it right for them to have terminated K-Power?
Yeah.
I said, yes, it is right. Because that was the position I was advocating for.
Yes.
And I was advocating for it to be terminated precisely because of the cost to the country. And I basically said, if we are paying 30 to 35 million a year on something that we can buy for that amount of money, why don't you invest in one or two, even three of them? Yeah. You become energy independent.
I think if NAWEC at the beginning of the arrangement with K-Power had come out and honestly spoken to the people to say, give us 10 months. Yeah. All right? Give us 10 months. With all the problems that you're going to experience, we will save a minimum of $300 million, all right, in order to provide a second Kotu. I think we would have taken that.
Yes. I would have bought into it because it would assure us reliability of supply.
Yes.
And the supply may...
That's why I put it that way.
Yeah.
To buy a second Kotu. Yeah. So we don't have just one Kotu, we have two Kotus now.
Yeah. Yeah. So that was the thing. And one of the mistakes that was made in terminating K-Power is the contingency that you talked about, Senelec and EDG. But one of the biggest mistakes in getting rid of K-Power for me is giving the contract for some of these engines to an entity called Unique Energy.
What's the problem with that?
It's not an the name shows that it's an energy company, but I think it's by and large an IT company, and I don't think they were qualified to run, maintain, and finance those engines that are now lying idle. No offense to Unique. It's a business opportunity. They took it. But it's incumbent upon NAWEC, the board, and the commission to make sure that you give that contract to an entity that has the capacity, technical, financial capacity, to maintain them. So Unique is in the same situation we all are, because they can't solve these problems. I think the problems are too huge for it to do it. And if I was them, I would renegotiate this contract and find a nice way out of it. They made a lot of money from it, I think, and so that would have had a better ending to it. Now, like everything else in this country, if you look at who owns Unique, what are the political connections of Unique, then you realize that the opaqueness of the procurement contracting systems in this country.
You're talking about transparency.
Yes.
Let us in on, the ownership of Unique and all of that. Some of us who don't know, can learn from you.
A lot of your listeners know Unique Energy. I'll stop at that.
What happened to transparency?
Yes, there is no transparency, unfortunately.
No, in this case, you bring me transparent with information you come to the program with this morning.
What I gave you, for me, is enough.
Okay.
That there is this entity called Unique, that after they terminated K-Power, they gave these contracts to Unique. And in my view, this is my view, in my view, Unique does not have the technical or the financial capacity to fill that void.
And in your view also, if you look at the ownership of the company...
Yes, they are politically connected.
Okay. All right.
Like everything else in this country.
All right.
Now...
Okay. I was going to say, let's turn now to one of the Gambia's most trusted friends, the IMF.
Yeah.
Huh? Ready for that, or you still have something on NAWEC?
No, I'm through with NAWEC now.
So the main takeaways for you from the IMF's recent consultations with the Gambia government, because as always, at the end of these consultations, a huge, press release comes out, this and this and this and this and that. But Lare, always sees beyond the headlines and the figures.
And I always delve into the issues more than the headlines will suggest. Now, this is this last Article 4 consultations. It's the 5th ECF review, Enhanced Credit Facility. Now, that is a fancy word for balance of payment support.
Oh,
but we've said it here.
ECF is nothing but BOP.
Balance of payments. Yeah. We've said it here. I've said it. Lamin Mane has said it. We've been saying it all over. To say, when they give you an ECF program, it's basically saying you are off track on your balance of payments. You need to come back on track. And that is why this current Article 4 consultation is not any different than the previous one. You remember the Minister of Finance sat in a press conference with the team leader of the IMF, and she says the central bank should go back to its core mandate. And then the deputy managing director of the IMF went to see the president, and told the president we need to rationalize our public expenditure program. It's the same issues they are raising.
Rationalize public expenditure program, meaning we need to cut down on public spending.
Yes. And this time around, credit to the IMF, they highlighted it, that public spending needs to be rationalized. And you need to recognize that. Now, they are also saying that the debt burden, the debt burden that the country is grappling with also needs to be rationalized. But it is said within the context of rationalizing public expenditure. And knowing how these things work, I think they looked at the debt portfolio and realized that a lot of money is being borrowed to do infrastructure projects, and that needs to be rationalized. They will not tell you to stop it, but they will tell you to rationalize it.
Okay.
And the reason why they're concerned about the debt, and I think we have said this here many, many times. I know I have. To say, when you look at the public expenditure pattern, it's a case of serious domestic and external borrowing to finance infrastructure development. Nobody says a country can develop without infrastructure. Infrastructure is a vital aspect of development. Yeah. But infrastructure has to be done in such a way that it doesn't become an encumbrance.
I agree.
We talked about better herding, and social media is showing substandard roads everywhere. And the reason why the IMF...
They don't like that word, substandard.
Well, a minister is on videos in a road stretch somewhere in Badibu saying this is substandard. So we are borrowing from them on that. But roads that are not fit for purpose is what we are talking about. Now, contextualize all of that borrowing, into the national debt profile. I think I've said this here a couple of times before, and I'm going to repeat it again. I looked at the debt portfolio. Jawara's debt in 32 years was $3.47 billion. He contracted $3.47 billion.
Dalasi, okay. I was going to say, is that dollars or Dalasi?
Dalasi.
Okay.
In 32 years, and part of the Banjul-Basse highway was built from that. 3.47 billion, less than 4 billion for 32 years. Jammeh came in for 22 years. He contracted $46.3 billion. 46.3 billion. So you combine Jammeh and Jawara together, you have a debt portfolio of 49.97 billion Gambian dollars. Now, Barrow's debt in 8 years, we are talking 8 years because I don't have the figures for the last year and a half or so.
Okay.
For 8 years, Barrow has contracted $101 billion in loans.
Wow.
101 billion. So now you see where the IMF is drifting, public expenditure. Also, the central bank should go back to its core mandate of managing the monetary policy, creating employment, and rationalizing inflation, depreciating, stopping the depreciation of the dollar. Those are the key takeaways from this current mission. Now, Barrow, 8 years, 101 billion. If you add Jawara and Jammeh, 49.7 billion to Barrow's 101 billion, you have a debt portfolio of 150.97 billion, almost 151 billion dollars that we are paying for as taxpayers. Now, the debt service payments, according to the minister's budget, to 2026 budget, is 13.46 billion.
Percentage-wise, that's how much of our...
22.26% of our GDP is going to servicing just debt, just to service it. 22% of our GDP. So, when you add all of that together, you begin to see why some of us are alarmed at the level of our national debt. And that's why some of us get critical about institutions like the IMF, who come here, they do this nice Article 4 consultations, release a bunch of information, good information at that. Now, when they say the Gambia is performing, because they said that, and I have to be fair and transparent with it, they say the Gambia is growing at 7%. 7%.
That's a big figure, huh?
Yes, 7% growth rate, 7% GDP growth.
Oh, wow.
But if you know anything about economics, you know the 7% GDP growth rate does not translate into GDP per capita. GDP per capita is what affects you and I on the streets. When we go to the market, the things that we buy, you know the money that you spend monthly or weekly when you go to the market. Yep. You know whether that money you spend is reflective of this 7% growth. If we are growing at 7% and inflation is just about the same, we should be a very nice.
It's now 7%.
Yeah, we should be in a very nice space as a country. You should be able to buy certain things, have some money left for you to save, for you to take a holiday, go somewhere else, or to do.
Holiday for me now.
All of that is not happening. So for me, the GDP growth rate, and there is a huge debate among economists globally. Yesterday I got an article that I'm reviewing, basically looking at GDP growth rates, countries like Botswana, South Africa, Lesotho, Namibia, high growth rates. But the downside of all of that is saying, yes, the country is growing at 7% or whatever the growth rate is, GDP, but GDP per capita is stuck. The quality of life is not reflected in GDP growth rates. The quality of life is reflected in GDP per capita rates. Now, I don't blame the IMF for saying what they have said, because I know they depend on government institutions for the data they use to analyze the economy.
Okay.
Ministry of Finance, Central Bank, the Statistics Office.
So how should we interpret these IMF findings? As warnings, opportunities, or both?
I think it's both a warning and an opportunity. It's a warning in the sense that it does not happen too often to have an Article 4 mission leader sit next to a finance minister and say, your central bank needs to go back to its core mandate.
Okay.
It's highly unusual for the managing director of the IMF to also come into a country, go to see the president, and say you need to rationalize your public expenditure. And what is more profound about all of that is that they managed to keep it as transparently as possible in their Article 4 reporting. And when I saw these things, I chuckled sort of, because I'm saying, the IMF is finally learning some lessons from Senegal. Because Senegal has thoroughly embarrassed them on the hidden debt issue.
It's inevitable.
Yes.
Because you know what they say.
Yes.
Whatever rises in Senegal will probably rest here in Banjul.
Exactly. So I'm saying I think they are covering themselves neatly on bringing these things out. And what they are also saying inherently, rationalizing public expenditure, central bank going back to its core mandate. Basically, they are saying the central bank shouldn't be giving 10 private entities $200 million of our foreign exchange reserves to do business with.
Otherwise, how would they get stuff into this country if they don't have the foreign?
You go to the commercial banks.
But I hear that the banks, cannot mobilize certain amounts of.
If the central bank guarantees it, it will.
Or if the central bank guarantees.
Yes, this is a case where 200 million from the foreign exchange reserves were given to 10 companies.
Okay.
200 million.
So the CBG should have said, go back to the
commercial banks. Whatever you negotiate, we back you up in terms of guaranteeing whatever you do. And then the issue of the currency swap, Afrexim Bank.
With GRA. With GRA, the beneficiary.
Yes. So these are some of the issues that the central bank...
GRA, sorry, NRA.
National Road Authority.
National Roads Authority.
Yeah. But these are some of the issues that the central bank shouldn't be involved in. And I think that's what the IMF is referring to. It's very good advice to the government. Whether or not the government will accept it is another thing.
Okay. So for us, it's an opportunity that the IMF have seen a problem, and they have flagged it.
They flagged it. And even made a recommendation in terms of how to fix it.
Okay. So, all right. So let's move on to UDP matters now, about the reform agenda you flagged earlier on, and I thought, well, we should actually end today's program on that. And let me just announce that the NATIP program, it used to be a very popular program here. NATIP is National Agency Against Trafficking in Persons. They are returning, so they should have been on at 10, but when Lare is here, 1 hour isn't enough, so we've begged them to go and come back at 11. So
and Lare truly appreciates the consideration.
Sorry,
and I apologize to them also.
No, it's okay. They have an understanding.
Good.
They understand that this is election year, and we need all the issues to be thoroughly explained to us, so that when we go into that voting booth, we vote wisely.
Gambians are very understanding people. That's one of the better traits that we have.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a demonstration.
All right, let's talk reform agenda.
Now,
UDP reform agenda.
When I think since 1996, I know since 1996, our party leader has always said that if he ever gets elected president, he's going to serve only one term.
Yes.
He's been saying that consistently.
Yes.
For
even though not many people believe it.
Even the president commented and said that no, if you give it to him, this is so nice, he's not leaving. But it's all about character. I think I know he's very serious about the one-term issue. And we've worked out in 2021. We've worked out a 100-day plan.
Okay.
For the things that are going to be happening within the first 100 days, second 100 days, and third 100 days for a year. We have identified what we call low-hanging fruits that should be taken care of. Now, that has been overtaken by events.
Yes, exactly. This was in 2021.
Yes,
it's 5 years on.
That has been overtaken by events, but we have identified 4 core areas that is going to be the anchor of our reforms agenda when we come to power.
Not if you come to power.
When we come to power. Okay. I'm talking here because I know some of you guys know what happened in 2021. So we are saying when we come to power, not if we come to power.
Okay.
The number one among those is the restoration of democratic norms, delivering a new constitution and law reforms. It's a huge plank, but it can be done. The constitution, the 2020 constitution is there. All you need to do is to reconstitute the commission that did it and put together a team of people to look at it, to tweak it here and there. But basically, the key aspects of that constitution remain valid.
We won't be having to spend another 116,
no.
17
We don't have the
million.
160 million. I'm talking about a time frame of about 90 days for them to come up with something.
Okay.
And key among those is UDP's commitment for diaspora voting. We are going to make that a front-end issue. Gambians are bringing in millions of dollars into this country.
Soon to be, probably they've hit $1 billion because it's not everything that has come into the formal.
If you look at the formal banking sector, It's a huge sum of money.
Yes.
But the informal one, you going to New York,
exactly.
they give you an envelope for stuff. So it's a huge economic infusion, money into our economy, and they should be able to decide who manages that economy. So diaspora voting is going to be plank number one. After you do the constitution, we will invoke the clause that gives diaspora voting front-end status. The second reform agenda is revitalizing the economy. I think we have a cost of living crisis. Whether the government believes it or not, or accepts it or not, we have a cost of living crisis. People are having a difficult time making ends meet, eating 3 square meals like we are used to, getting that good quality fish and meat at the market at reasonable costs. And that is because
sometimes even getting is a
yes,
problem,
getting
particularly with regard to fish.
Yes, that's why I say if you want to revitalize the economy, certain aspects of that economy, like fishing, the meat industry, has to be controlled by Gambians. You need to indigenize those sectors so that the supply can meet the demand of the market for those goods and services. I keep telling you, I have this habit every 3 months. I go to Albert Market, the Bakau Market, Serekunda, Talinding, Latrikunda, Sabiji, Lameng, Brikama, Katong.
You go everywhere then?
Yes, Katong. I come to Sanyang, Tujereng, Batokunku, Burfoot, and I go home. What do? I look at the average food basket, how much it will cost me. Fish, for example, I buy bulk for a month. I used to pay something like $10,000 per
basket.
What they call baignoire.
Oh, okay. They used to be in Panya before.
Yes, that's it's the same thing, but if you put it in that metal thing, it's called a baignoire.
Okay.
I used to pay 10,000 for that. It is now 15,000. The latest.
50% up.
50% up. And it's not readily available to everybody. When you want to buy ladyfish, for example, just 3 small pieces of ladyfish, you will pay 500 Gambian dollars.
Yeah, people complain about that. Even bonga has price now.
Well, bonga is no longer
Chalo.
It's no longer a poor man's diet. Bonga is a luxury now. So we want to revitalize the economy to achieve affordability, to ensure accountability in our transactions, in the government's transactions, openness and transparency in it, and accountability, and then fiscal and monetary policy reforms. The fiscal and monetary policy reforms will revolve around the things that the IMF is saying. Not that we want to buy into the IMF's analysis lock, stock, and barrel, but we want to ensure that those areas that make a lot of sense, rationalizing public expenditure, managing our debt stock, managing inflation, helping to stop the depreciation of the dollar vis-a-vis the orange. Those are some of the revitalization things that we're going to do. The third one is rebuilding a professional and independent civil service. And underlying that will be institutional reforms. The kind of reforms we talked about now falls under this plank. You can pick any institution in this country, from the presidency down, they all require reforms.
What would you reform about the presidency?
The public expenditure patterns, the way they manage the budgets, the way tax money is allocated to them. The $150,000 Kopardawal will definitely go.
They say you
people
should stop this.
We'll say it because it is there. You just change the nomenclature. But we are going to stop that anyway, so that it will not be an issue. The president should be able to feed himself. He should be able to buy electricity, buy water, like all the presidents do. But if the state is providing it, he needs to pay rent to State House.
That's interesting.
No, that's what obtains. Even in the U.S., the president pays rent.
Oh, does he?
Yes.
Ah, how much does Trump pay?
He's refusing to pay. But every president before him, from Benjamin Franklin, pay rent. When they do public functions, that's when the catering comes in. They cater, and it's different from what the president's personal involvement is concerned. So these are some of the things that we are going to reform. We pay the president a lot of $500,000 is a month when you put everything together.
Untaxed, I understand.
Yes, untaxed. And then you provide free housing, free food, free electricity, free water, free telephone, free fuel, free car.
Why am I not running for president?
Yes, but that's why everybody is running for president. Why do you think there are 20 or so political parties in the country? It's a free meal.
Oh, goodness me.
So we are going to get rid of all of those things. And the Ministry of Finance, and I keep saying this also, the National Audit Office hasn't forensically, to the best of my knowledge, hasn't forensically audited the Ministry of Finance, the Central Bank of the Gambia, the Ministry of Agriculture, the Ministry of Local Government and Lands. And they have not forensically audited the Fisheries Ministry.
Why are you particularly interested
I'm interested in
these
them.
ministries?
I'm interested in them. Because the bulk of our money that is channeled through the economy goes through these ministries, including health.
Yeah, what about transport, works, and infrastructure?
You start with that one.
I didn't hear it in your list. That's
well, I was coming.
Oh, okay.
I was coming.
And I mentioned them because they get a large chunk of the budget now.
I know. I was going to come last to it. Because I was going to say, if you look at the money that is allocated to the infrastructure ministry.
Yeah, TWI we call them.
And how that money is spent in terms of building roads, you need to audit this ministry to make sure that our money is going where it's supposed to go, without qualms.
But NAO, the National Audit Office, they carry out, an audit of the government every year.
That's another trigger for me. You are triggering me. The National Audit Office has been doing a fantastic job when that gentleman, Karamba Ture, I don't know him, I've never met him, but I can always access reports under him. When he left, his successor came. Motsise came. Karamba went on a social media platform to say, I had recommended that 3 of the deputy Auditor Generals are all qualified to become Auditor General. The government, in its infinite wisdom, went outside of that and got Motsise out of the Ministry of Finance and made him Auditor General. Now, they made him Auditor General. He was doing well releasing these audit reports. You remember his last audit report, if I recall correctly, was on the COVID-19 funds at the Ministry of Health. This new Auditor General, we need to audit him.
Why?
Because I don't think he is doing a good job. This is my personal view. I don't think he is doing a good job auditing government entities and telling Gambians what he found out. Just this morning on my way coming here, there was a social media posting. I think it's from one of the famous social media outlets that is saying, this guy has released an audit of the National Assembly, but he has not released all of the recommendations, findings and recommendations of that audit.
Oh.
This morning, it was on social media. So we need to audit the auditors themselves. And countries have done it. If you have an auditor general that is political,
you're not suggesting this one is.
My view is he's political. He has been appointed politically, not based on merit. They needed to advertise that post. You get rid of somebody without his term ending, and then you handpick another person, you replace him with that. Where is the transparency in that? What I would have liked the government to do was to advertise that post. Let Gambians abroad and at home and abroad apply for that post. That hasn't happened. So if you handpick, you put there, it's a political appointment. And you cannot run away from that. They are going to be on my case, but I maintain it's a political appointment because of the fact that they have not advertised the position. They have all the time to advertise that position. They haven't. They handpicked somebody. And if you look at most of the key appointments, they just handpick. Right. Just recently we saw GAM Petroleum. The managing director was removed. Handpicked somebody, put him there. That post should have been advertised. These are some of the reforms we are talking about. UDP is not going to appoint people strictly based on political affiliation. Your ethics, your integrity, your professionalism, your qualifications will matter. We want to be a government that can pick any Gambian anywhere in the world, irrespective of your political affiliation. If we say Peter can be DG of GRTS.
Oh, you cannot even name the,
because I despise
your public broadcaster.
I cannot name it because it's a political institution.
Oh, that's another political institution?
Yes. Since when did you see an opposition figure on GRTS? Can you recall? They don't invite us. They don't go to our functions. They don't carry our functions. So it's political. For me, that is the penultimate political institution in this country, GRTS. So we are saying every Gambian who is qualified, has the ethics, the integrity, should be able to apply for a vacancy, go through the interview process, and you get appointed. There is no need for the president to sit or his advisors to sit and say, let's put Lare there, Lare goes there. Let's put Peter there, Peter goes there. That is not the essence of managing a good civil service. And by the way, we talk Botswana. They used to compare Gambia to Botswana's civil service. In the rankings, when Gambia comes first, Botswana is second. When Botswana comes first, Gambia is second, always. Until Jammeh came on the scene.
Yeah. And destroyed everything. Yeah.
So, and finally, this rebuilding a professional, independent civil service institutional reforms, the last key reform, security sector reforms.
We've been struggling with this for what? 8-9 years now?
Yeah, since Jammeh left, since the TRRC report came out.
Was it not launched in 2018?
2018, yes.
Yeah, so that's
So, you cannot cherry pick security sector reforms and expect to get the desired outcome. When we say security sector reform, we are saying reform the entire security system in the country. You cannot call a security sector an independent sector like the police. When I speak as an opposition figure, I can get called to go to the police station. When somebody else speaks and insults or whatever, because it's affiliated to the ruling party, no calls, no consequences. We are facing it. You know the day I washed my hands off of this security sector reform?
No.
Was the day our Bori Ture was called to go to the police station, and he was kept overnight for speaking at a political rally.
Oh.
Speaking, if they can do that to an advocate like Bori,
a lawyer,
an officer of the courts, who do you think they're going to spare? Meanwhile, we have a foreign woman here who is insulting everybody in the opposition.
A foreign woman?
Yes. Mama Jabi. I don't want to name names.
How is she foreign?
Is she a Gambian?
Isn't she?
No. She's from Guinea-Conakry. But she's here. They gave her $1 million of our tax. She went and testified in the Bojang brother-sister trials. And the defense lawyer, Lamin J. Dabo, made a total fool out of her on the witness stand. Everything she testified to was debunked. But she's supporting the president. She's supporting the NPP. And she's insulting elders in this country, including Imam Fati. The latest one is on Imam Fati. And we cannot have a political system like that, where we say under the law we are equal. But before the law, we are not equal. Before the law, it's who you know and what political affiliations you have. So we want a total overhaul of the security system, the police. I mean, they have excellent policemen and women out there doing work that they are not getting paid for. You want to accommodate those and actually congratulate them for their trials and tribulations for all the things that they are doing. But there are some bad ones among them.
You want to weed those out.
Yes, we need to weed those out and make sure that our police becomes a Republican police. Our army becomes a Republican army. Just look at the CDS's case.
What about it?
What about it? You mean you haven't read anything about him?
Well, you're here.
On the social media?
That's why I brought you onto the program. Talk about him, yeah.
Yes, I can talk about it, but I'm sure you also saw it. You also saw it.
We addressed it here last week.
Yes, okay.
We addressed it
I watched you address it. Yeah. So there is no pretense that you don't know what is happening there. You know what is happening there. I'm saying under the best of circumstances, that individual should not have been made CDS. Why? Because the individual who was there, Drame, was retired because he reached the official retirement age. But the CDS that left was older than him.
Younger, you mean?
No, he is older than Drame.
Okay, you mean the one that just resigned?
Yes.
Okay.
He is older than Drame.
Okay.
You remove Drame because he reached the official retirement age. You replace him with somebody who is older than him.
Oh, wow.
And then you give him a contract, and he's making the Army's credit union his personal property.
Well, some are saying the wife has a right to access loans as a member of the military.
Is the wife a uniform member of the military? She's not a uniform member of the military. The credit union is for the uniform members of the military. If you give her a loan, you are abusing your office.
Yeah, if she's not a member.
Yes. She's not a member of the armed forces. We don't know what her rank is in the army. Does she have a rank? Because her husband is CDS, she registered at the credit union.
And the credit union was accepting her deposits.
They accepted that thing. That should not have happened. That's the bigger point I'm trying to make.
Okay.
It should not have happened that way.
So UDP's SSR will address all these issues.
We are not going to allow people who are not entitled to access certain resources to access them. We are not going to be oblivious to that. And we are going to have strict guidelines as to who can access these things. The guidelines are there. They're just flaunted. Gambia is full of policies and documents and guidelines. Our Achilles heel is implementation. We do not implement anything.
But the UDP government will ensure that whatever is agreed will be implemented.
Whatever is agreed will be implemented
100%.
And we will stick to it. The spirit and the letter of that agreement will be met.
All right. Natif should be here in another 5 minutes. I don't know. Maybe, it's election year. Your camera is over there. You want to, talk to the Gambian people who are listening to and watching you.
my compatriot Gambians, we've been talking about change, systems change, and Gambians worked very hard to bring that change in 2016. They brought President Barrow to power. We all know what happened after that, after 2018. That change was shortchanged. We want to assure Gambians that a UDP government, when it comes to power, will assure them of our fidelity to transformation, to accountability, and to transparency. You see, when a government doesn't have fidelity to these issues, you get into the kind of situation that we are in. Last time I listed a host of corrupt things that happened. That was just the tip of the iceberg. And that was up to the year 2021-22. I'm compiling another list which will deal with 2022 to 2026. And we'll be shocked at the kind of pilferage that goes on.
You're already seeing that?
I'm seeing it. I have downloaded about 48 audit reports, and I put them on flash drives, keep them in separate places. I'm reviewing those audit reports. The revenue leakages in our institutions is outstanding. It's astounding. If we plug those leakages, we don't need to go out and borrow this much money to do development. We will need money for things like renewable energy, energy independence, but in terms of our day-to-day survival, we will not require the kind of monies that you are seeing. You will not see us build a road network that is 22 kilometers long, that costs $9 million per kilometer, when it should cost $1.2 million. Don't be surprised. We said it here in this studio. The OIC road, it's over $9 million. The unit cost should have been originally costed at $1.2 million. The side roads to the OIC roads, $50 million. And it's less than 50 kilometers. So $1 million per kilometer. Those are some of the things that UDP is not going to accept. Okay. Our tax money will be spent on taxpayers. We want to increase the welfare quotient of our Gambian citizens.
Fantastic. Lare, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Vif lay fay. Sant yàlla. looy xaar utal Wave nga scan nga fay te nag doo ci yokku dara.
A better way to pay your UTG fees with instant proof of payment and real-time student portal update. Paying your University of the Gambia fees has never been easier or more convenient. With Ecobank, students, parents and guardians can pay UTG tuition and related fees through our secure digital banking channels such as Ecobank mobile app, Ecobank Online and Ecobank Omni Lite. Once payment is completed, instant proof of payment is generated and the UTG student portal is updated in real time, allowing students to proceed immediately with registration, course selection, and clearance without unnecessary delays, while giving parents and guardians peace of mind that payments have been successfully processed. How to pay via the Ecobank mobile app. Open the Ecobank mobile app and navigate to the home screen. Select Pay Bill. Choose Pay a New Bill and select Schools from the category options. Select University of the Gambia. Select the specific product you are paying for. Enter your matriculation number and tap Continue. Validate your details. The system will display the payable amount. Press Continue to confirm the payment. An e-receipt is generated automatically as proof of payment with real-time updates on the student portal. How to pay via Ecobank Online or OmniLite. Log in to Ecobank Online and OmniLite using your credentials. Select the menu and choose Bill Payments. Choose Quick Bill Pay and select School from the category options. Select University of the Gambia. Select the specific product you are paying for. Enter your matriculation number and tap Continue. Validate your details. The system will display the payable amount. Press Continue to confirm the payment. An e-receipt is generated automatically as proof of payment with real-time updates on the student portal. Walk into any Ecobank branch or pay through our digital channels and enjoy instant proof of payment with real-time updates on the student portal. Ecobank, the Pan-African Bank.
Jar Oil. The company have filling stations across the country, and our rates are relatively cheaper than anyone else across the country. Jar Oil is the biggest producer and distributor of cement in the country with the most competitive prices in the market.